The NFL owners meeting is going on down in Palm Beach, Florida, which is ironic that the Broncos are there because they're likely missing an owner as they head for the 2022 season. Well, our Broncos insider Mike-Klis spends a lot of his personal time at the Breakers in Palm Beach and just happened to be there this week along with the brass from each and every NFL team, and that includes, of course, Joe Ellis.
Yes, Tom, and as a matter of fact, Joe was saying there's lots and lots of bidders to become the Broncos owner. I wanted to kind of condense that box a little bit, get it a little smaller. By lots, how many is that? Give us a number, Joe.
It's more than 5, okay, and it's less than 20.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of people that would like to be involved in some part, whether if they're not the controlling owner. And so, you know, it's been a pretty robust process so far. Allen and Company and Proskauer, our outside counsel on the transaction, have done a heck of a job for us up to now. And I'll stick to the timeline that I said, I think, back in January, which is we should have a new owner in place by the start of the regular season. I cannot guarantee that.
The league has let it be known they would like diverse component with the ownership group.
The resolution calls for owners, when selling his or her team, they're encouraged to include groups that have minority representation. You know, and so it's an encouragement, it's not a requirement. That said, I will tell you that there are plenty of interested investors, minority interested investors, who would be willing, who've called me and talked to me and asked about being part of a membership, an ownership group within the Broncos. And they may get paired up with an owner, they may not. It's not a requirement, but I've been impressed by the number of people that have come forward that have expressed an interest, including a significant number of minority, of black candidates, and some Latino candidates.
So, Mike, I want to ask you, you had this conversation with them, but the clock ticks, and it seems like it would be pretty important that this gets solved before they kick the football off in 2022 at the latest.
Yeah, Joe Ellis did say he's sticking by the timetable that the new owner will be in place by the start of 2022, the regular season anyway. And there will be, I don't think there's much question here, Tom. There's just been some strong recommendations, suggestions from the NFL that they want minority representation in the ownership. So I think there's a chance it's going to be a group rather than one single partner, as has been the case in recent years. Dave Tepper controlling and owning the Carolina Panthers. I think this might be more of a consortium of investors, and there will be minority representation.
And as you've said, it is still going to be an auction, and theoretically the highest bid is still going to be the one that wins. I want to touch on something real quick. You talked with Joe Ellis also about the fire damage last week out at Empower Field. Are there any major concerns from him in that department?
Yeah, there are. Right now, he didn't sound overly optimistic that the seats would be replaced by the start of the regular season. They do have insurance to cover lost revenue on that, but he said there's steel risers that are built that support the seats from underneath, and that buckled amidst the heat of the fire. And the supply chain that we've gone through here in America since COVID has really wreaked havoc on the steel industry. So they're not overly optimistic that the seats will be replaced. Maybe it'll be close. They do think the suites will be fully repaired and restored. A lot of water damage. Most of the damage, as it turned out, wasn't from the fire, but because it was so high up into the bowl of the stadium, they had to get the water up there, and they take no prisoners, the fire department, and water runs downhill. A lot of the damage in the suites is from water.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, that does happen. Wow. Well, we'll be keeping a close eye on that. I think the suites, you know, that's the high end. They might get fixed.
They have a better
first.
supply chain in the suites
I'm
than
just thinking maybe.
than the regular guy down in the seats. Well, we'll have to see.
I know you don't have on, there's no way you have on long pants and socks right now, Mike, because you've got shorts on and you've got, so you can just walk on out in the sand into the water.
Yes. By the way, I do have pants. Maybe I should have tucked in my shirt or something there for the shot. But
Okay, never mind.
Well, leave it to Kim.
I got the half
I
Palm
was
Beach
just
look.
thinking.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have much more on this coming up at 5 o'clock. There's been a lot with Nathaniel Hackett and Joe Ellis and George Payton and everyone talking down there, as well as others around the league. So, Mike, I know you have been busy despite the appearances, and we'll have much more for us coming up at 5 o'clock. Thanks again.